Hi comic book fans, and welcome to another suddenlycomics.com video. Today we are going to do some time travel courtesy of Detective Comics 352. This comic is from 1966, so you can see the checkered logo at the top here. This was distinctive of DC Comics at the time. They used this checkered trade dress, which makes them very distinctive and nice and easy for, for sorting them out from other comics. This cover is by Carmen Infantino. We are going to climb inside our time capsule that is Detective Comics 352, and we are going to travel back to the swinging 60s. So it's 1966, and Lyndon B. Johnson is President of the United States and Harold Wilson is Prime Minister of England. 1966 is also extremely famous because it is the only year in which England have won the Football World Cup. And who were the most famous people in the world in 1966? It was, of course, the Beatles, who were storming America. They were more famous than Jesus, as is said. So, and what was the most popular television program in 1966? Of course, it was Batman, starring Adam West as the Caped Crusader. It was its first season in 1966. It ran for 3 seasons, finished in 1968, but there were 120 episodes. You need to go and watch them all because they are classics. Right, so here we have our first page of this comic. It's tremendous. So, it's a Batman's Crime Hunt a Go-Go. This comic could only, as we go through this comic could only possibly have come out in the 1960s. First of all, if you're familiar with the Batman television series, these sort of word noises here, pow, also appeared in the television series whenever Batman hit anything, and I'm delighted to see that we've got them in this comic. So this is an advert, and I mean, the artwork's quite nice. This is an advert for our Army at War's Sergeant Rock. But what makes this particularly fun is the text down here. It says, "The combat happy Joes of Easy tore into the Nazis like teenagers wolfing up a 6-foot-long hero sandwich after rocking and a-rolling at a hullabaloo party." I think somebody in the DC offices is partaking of some of the substances that were available in the 1960s. Okay, back to the story, and another great bit of writing here. Those of you who are familiar with the Batman series will know that Robin quite frequently says, "Holy Shark Batman," or holy Joker Batman. Here he's saying holy sparklers because a jeweller's is being robbed. It's called Tiffy Jewelers, obviously meant to be Tiffany. Holy sparklers, crooks coming out of that jewellery store. Great. And look here, Batman, look out. About to fire at point blank range, but Batman kicks out with his leg, thump. That's what I call neat footwork. Zocco, and not bad arm work either. This could only be from the 1960s. Right, and this is fantastic. Now, do not put your comics in slabs because you will not be able to see such fantastic and beautiful language. So here we go. Said a cat suffocating in Squaresville, I have moved to the wide open Airsville. 'Cause those mags from DC set me off on a spree. They are strictly from None Can Comparesville. Somebody at DC was having a good day when they were writing the text for this comic. Right, and we've got a beautiful checkered logo. And we have got an advert. The cat visits AMT's new Trophy Hall of Fame. And guys, get excited because you can get a model of a 1940 Ford Coupe for only $1.70. Or you can get a 1934 Ford pickup truck again for $1.70. And get excited because coming soon you can get a 1957 T-Bird or a 1950 Ford convertible. Brilliant. Now back to our story, and we've got a sock. Somebody's been hit on the chin, and very unusually, I'm not sure we ever see a flip in the TV series. Perhaps somebody can correct me, but Batman is attacking this guy with a pack of cards, and the action noise says flip. But we're back to normal down here because we've got a pow. Now, a Batman in the 1960s doesn't really count unless there is some strange gadget. And I'm delighted to say that in this issue of Detective Comics, we have got the first ever appearance of the Supersonic Whisper. Yeah. I'm sorry to say that it's also the last ever appearance of the Supersonic Whisper. What is a Supersonic Whisper, Batman? Well, he discovered that under certain circumstances it was possible to influence a person's mind by projecting a supersonic whisper out of range of human hearing repeated over and over again. A supersonic whisper? Yes. Although the person would not be consciously aware of it, or aware of the message, it would enter the subconscious part of the brain and affect his thoughts and actions, especially if he were eager to accept the message, as my crime-hunting mind was. Editor's note. This is similar to subliminal perception, in which an image on a television screen, for example, is flashed before a subject too rapidly to be seen, and yet, as studies have shown, it can influence the mind. Well, there you go. These comics are educational as well as fun. And okay guys, now you need to rush out and get your copy of Hawkman. The famous battle cry of Hawkman is apparently wheat. I didn't know that. And Hawkman is going to take on Core, the criminal alliance of the world, in a slashing, smashing, mashing battle to gain possession of the world's greatest treasure. Oh my goodness. And look, in this comic, in the centre spread, you get a poster of Batman and Robin, again inked and penciled by Carmine Infantino, and I think colorist was a guy called Murphy Anderson. I mean, what more do you want from a comic? Well, what you might want is a backup feature called featuring the Elongated Man. You're only going to see one page of this because I didn't think much of it. In fact, the best thing about this backup feature was the punny name. I presume this is the Counter of Monte Carlo. I presume is a pun on the Count of Monte Cristo. You're not going to see any more of that because I didn't like the artwork. So if you want to read more about the Counter of Monte Carlo, you need to go and buy the comic. However, I mean, this is tremendous. Scooter. This is an advert for issue 1 of Swing with Scooter. Now, Scooter, who he? Forsooth, from Will the Shakespeare's Pad, and I think they're talking about England, Alack, there came this swinging cat. Egad, he digged us so, this lad, says Blood, we're now his habitat. Gadzooks, those kooks at DC boast, odds bodkins, Scooter's strictly boss. I faith his new mag is the most. How now, our gain is England's loss. I'd never heard of this until I'd looked at this today. Swing with Scooter. Well, let's see what they've got to say about it. Well, Cynthia says, Zipsville, he doesn't turn me on. Penny says, darling, Scooter's the absolute end. And Cookie said, that lover doll. Sylvester says, Scooter's my disco buddy. He's okay with me. Malibu doesn't like Scooter. He says, I'll tell you what I think of that English import. He's a... And what about Kenny? Because Kenny is the hippest of the hip. He says, that Fink's got all my chicks turned into his frequency. Right, so immediately on seeing this, I had to go and find a Scooter number one. A Swing with Scooter number one. But unfortunately, this is an expensive comic. It's about 3 times expensive as Detective Comics 352. The cheapest copy I could find was a fine, and it was about £35. That was too much. I was hoping to be able to get it for £1. And if I ever see one for £1 or maybe up to £3 or £4, I'll buy one. Look, it's got the checkered logo on it. It can't be bad. Right, so look out for Swing with Scooter because it looks hip. Right, and then the next advert here is Andy and George in the G.I. Joe Club. I'm sorry, Andy and George, but you're in the wrong decade. Andy and George, I'm afraid, have not yet emerged from the 1950s, and they need to get with it and start swinging and get down to Zipsville, to Coolville. And finally, guys, in this comic, you've got a free voucher to get in 2 people free, one person free admission and 2 free rides at Palisades Amusement Park, New Jersey. However, I have got some bad news for you. This voucher is no longer valid, largely because Palisades Amusement Park in New Jersey closed in 1971. So there we go. That is our journey, our time travelling back to 1966 using our time machine, which is Detective Comics 352. I hope you've enjoyed that. It was a swinging, cool, hip time. Enough said.